Can guppies and mollies live together? Guppies and mollies are both popular choices for aquariums, and many hobbyists wonder if these two species can be kept together. The short answer is yes. Guppies and mollies can generally live together in the same tank as long as certain conditions are met. First, it is important to make sure that the tank is large enough to accommodate both species. Guppies and mollies are both smaller community fish but still need plenty of space to swim. A tank that is at least 20 gallons in size is recommended for a small group of these fish. In addition to size, the water conditions in the tank are also very important for both guppies and mollies. Both species aren't very particular with their water parameters. They can live in pH between 7 to 8.5 and temperatures between 72 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. The only thing you have to make sure of with your water is that it's clean. Do regular water changes of 25 to 50% weekly. Guppies and mollies are very resilient to dirty water, but the cleaner your water is, the healthier fish will be. What do guppies and mollies eat? Guppies and mollies are both omnivores, which means they both can eat plants and animal matter. Making it easy, they both eat the same things, so no special feedings for one or the other. In the wild, they will feed on a variety of small aquatic organisms, including insects, worms, crustaceans, and in captivity they can be fed a variety of consisting of both live and prepared foods. Live foods that can be fed to guppies and mollies include brine shrimp, daphnia, several types of worms, mosquito larvae. Prepared foods that can be fed to guppies and mollies include flakes or pellets, specifically formulated for fish that are omnivores, frozen or freeze-dried foods such as bloodworms, brine shrimp, or daphnia, vegetables such as blanched spinach, lettuce, peas, zucchini, or cucumbers. It's important to provide a varied diet and not rely solely on one type of food. Overfeeding can lead to health problems such as bloat, and that's why it's important to only provide enough food for the fish to consume in a few minutes at each feeding. I wouldn't feed more than 1 or 2 times a day. This will also help to minimize overfeeding. Why is my molly chasing my guppy? It is not uncommon for fish to exhibit aggressive behavior towards smaller fish or those that appear weaker. Molly fish are known to be omnivores and may see small fish as a potential food source. In some cases, fish may also chase or nip at each other as a way of establishing dominance or hierarchy within a group. If you're concerned about the behavior of a molly fish towards your guppy, there are a few things you can try to prevent or reduce the likelihood of such behavior occurring. Make sure that your molly fish is well-fed. Well-fed fish are lazy and less likely to be aggressive. Second, provide plenty of hiding spaces and areas of cover in the tank for your guppy to escape to if they feel threatened. This could include live plants or fake plants, caves, or other structures. Also consider separating the two fish if chasing behavior is persistent or if you're unable to prevent it. Do guppies and mollies get along? If you're thinking about adding some guppies or mollies to your home aquarium, you might be wondering if these two popular fish can get along. Good news is that guppies and mollies can generally coexist peacefully in the same tank, as long as they're provided with sufficient space, adequate filtration, and suitable environment. Both guppies and mollies are generally peaceful fish and can live together in a community tank setup. However, it's important to keep in mind that every fish has its own personality, and there may be some individual fish that don't get along with others. How many mollies and guppies can you put in a 20-gallon tank? While guppies and mollies are fairly friendly community fish, they reproduce fairly quickly, so having enough space for them is a must, or at least have a way for rehoming them when your tank becomes overcrowded. 20 gallons for a community tank of guppies and mollies is about the smallest I would go. Mollies get fairly big for a community fish, so I wouldn't suggest more than 5 or 6 in a 20-gallon with a trio or 2 of guppies. If you're only doing male guppies, 6 to 8. They'll reproduce fairly quickly and you'll have a full tank very quickly. Will mollies eat guppy fry? Yes, mollies will definitely eat your guppy fry if they have the chance. Mollies are opportunistic feeders and will go after your guppy fry. But if your guppy fry can outrun them or hide well enough, once they get to a certain size, mollies will give up. One way to help your guppy fry survive is to separate them for a few weeks in another tank until they are big enough and strong enough that mollies aren't a threat. If you don't want to spend the time hunting down all of the guppy fry and establishing a tank for them, then the next best thing is to make sure there are a lot of plant cover, whether that's real or fake, or decorations that guppy fry can hide in or under. Also, keeping your fish well fed makes them lazier when it comes to hunting guppy fry or babies, or any other type of babies. Will guppies eat molly fry? Guppies, given the chance, will eat your molly fry. Just like mollies, guppies are opportunistic feeders, and if they can catch a molly fry, then they will eat it. One benefit that molly fry have over guppy fry is they start bigger, so there's a shorter amount of time that guppies will be able to fit them in their mouths. Once they don't fit in the guppy's mouth, then they no longer have a risk of being eaten. Just like the guppy fry, if you separate the molly fry into another tank, then you don't have to worry about your guppies eating them. Also, giving plenty of hiding spaces will make it so your mollies have a higher chance of survival. Difference between guppy and molly fry. For the first week or two, you may have a hard time spotting any differences between your molly and guppy fry. The molly fry will be slightly bigger and thicker, whereas guppies will be smaller and slimmer. After a few weeks, mollies will start to develop color sooner and start to take on the molly body shape. Guppies will keep their tan color and start looking like mini female guppies. After the first month or two, guppy fry will start gaining sexual differences. The males will start to color up and develop their tails to woo the female guppies. The females will gain little to no color and start plumping out. Mollies in their second month will gain their full color and will look like miniature mollies. No real difference besides size. Can mollies and guppies crossbreed? Both species belong to the family Pecodilliae, and which includes a wide variety of live bearers that are known for their ability to give birth to live young rather than laying eggs. Mollies and guppies are closely related and can interbreed to produce hybrid offspring, but this isn't a common occurrence in the wild. In the aquarium, hybridization between mollies and guppies is more common and can be intentionally or unintentionally induced by hobbyists. Mollies and guppies can be crossbred to produce offspring with characteristics of both parents' strains, which some hobbyists who are interested in creating unique or novel fish. However, hybridization also carries a number of risks and limitations, which should be carefully considered before attempting to breed mollies and guppies together. One of the main risks of hybrid molly-guppy babies is the potential for reduced fertility or viability in the offspring. In addition, hybridization can also result in the production of offspring that are undesirable physically or in behavior, which may be less appealing to hobbyists. Another potential risk for hybridization is the potential for negative impacts on genetic diversity and stability of the parent strains. Due to hybridization of guppies and mollies, it is incredibly difficult to find a pure guppies and mollies in captivity or the wild. Despite the risks, hybrid molly and guppies can be a rewarding and interesting activity for hobbyists who are knowledgeable about potential challenges and are prepared to manage them. If you're interested in breeding mollies and guppies, it is important to do your research and understand the potential risks and limitations of hybridization. Depending on the combination of parents of a hybrid guppy and molly babies, depending on what they are called, much like if tigers and lions cross. If babies come from a male guppy and a female molly, then their offspring are called golly or gollies. If the babies come from a female guppy and a male guppy molly, then they are called muppies or muppy. I find it funny how some hybrid fish get their names. Are muppy or golly hybrids fertile? The fertility of guppy and molly hybrids can vary and depend on specific characteristics of each parent strains and specific genetic makeup of the hybrid individuals. In general, hybridization between these closely related species can lead to the production of offspring with reduced fertility or viability, depending on the specific genetic compatibility of parent strains, but for the most part, muppies and gollies are infertile. In a brief, having mollies and guppies together in an aquarium is achievable through careful planning. The tank size must be sufficient, water conditions stable, and other fish selected appropriately. By providing a suitable habitat and nourishment, mollies and guppies can live harmoniously in a shared aquarium environment. Hope to see your tanks full of guppies and mollies.